Record this to the cloud. There we go. We're recording. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to tonight's I Am Fabulous workshop. And I'm excited to be presenting this today. I really fell in love with the way that we can use essential oils for emotions. And this protocol that I'll share tonight is a very powerful one. So I'm excited to be able to introduce it to more people. So I'm going to go over a couple little housekeeping things first, and then a little bit of an intro of where this information comes from. A little bit about my story. I'm going to talk about why we're doing this, what we're doing, and then we're going to dive into it. And there will be 4 different segments that we will go through, and it will include a variety of different essential oils. So first, the couple of housekeeping things. Some people may listen to this recording and be new to essential oils, but I know we have also a lot of veterans as well. Just mute. There's a little noise going on in the. Okay. All right. I'm muting everyone so we don't get the background noise, but you feel free to unmute yourself to ask a question. So, as I was saying, we have some veteran oil users on this call or watching this call afterwards. So the first housekeeping thing that I want to mention is that you shouldn't be diffusing while you're doing this protocol. So if you're just purely listening and you're not using oils along with us, then feel free to be diffusing. But if you are following the protocol, the oils that we're going to use are very intense. So it's recommended not to diffuse during the activity. So, and I know most of us are big time diffusers. We're always diffusing something, and we often start our meetings talking about what we're diffusing. So in this case, we're not going to be diffusing. Secondly, you want to have plenty of water handy, especially if you are, as I said, going through the physical application of oils. You want to have plenty of water handy and to drink water throughout this time together, and then to drink water afterwards as well. If you've ever had any energy work done, I'm a Reiki practitioner. I know after I have a Reiki session or give a Reiki session, that whole exchange of energy, you really need to drink a lot of water. And next housekeeping tip, if you're new to Zoom, there is a chat button on the bottom bar of your screen. So at any point, if you want to make a comment or ask a question or anything like that, feel free to use the chat bar. And finally, you can do this you can listen to this without oils and learn something. So there are a few ways that you can do this. You can just listen if you're new to oils or if you don't have many oils, and hopefully you will learn something about a new way to use your essential oils. Or if you have some of these oils that we'll work with tonight, but not all of them, that's okay, don't worry. You will learn ways to use each of these oils and what kind of applications they might have for you. So don't worry if you can't, do it all out 100%. Just take the information, you'll get the recording, and then as you accumulate those oils, you can, at a later time, go back and do the full protocol. And then finally, you actually really need to only do this once. However, you can do it multiple times. I have personally done it a handful of times, and so that is okay to do it additional times, but you may find that one time is enough to clear the blockages that you're working with. So that's our housekeeping bit. Now I'm going to give you a little intro. The material that we're working today with I Am Fabulous, and just by the way, as an aside, I made some tea for the event, and I just realized after I made it that I picked my Be Fabulous mug. So right on point with that. And this protocol is called I Am Fabulous, and it's based on a book, this book right here. There'll be info on how to get it later on. The I Am Fabulous book by Desiree Mangendog. So Desiree is an acupuncturist and herbalist. She specializes in Chinese medicine, and she's also a leader in doTERRA. And in Chinese medicine, she speaks about the free flow of energy, or qi as they refer to it in Chinese medicine. It's the rhythm flowing in your body. And when we have blockages, it's what creates pain or dis-ease. And in Chinese medicine, she says that they believe that 99% of illnesses are rooted in spirit. Right. And I've actually heard similar things, similar statistics from others as well in other areas, that a lot of the physical things that happen with our body are related to our spirit. For many years, we've heard the phrase mind, body, and spirit. And really what we know is that they are not three separate entities. They are not able to be compartmentalized. It is one unit. It is one complete, complex, comprehensive unit. And so we know that wherever your focus goes, energy flows. And so that's why we're going to focus on a few different areas. So that is her background. This material comes directly from her. And I'm going to add a little bit of info from my own experience. So I'll just tell you a little bit about my personal story. I actually got interested in essential oils for physical relief. I was in the fitness business for many, many years, and I had a physical situation where I had an unidentifiable gelatinous mass, and it wrapped around my colon, wrapped around my ovary, was embedded through my pelvis, went down my leg and wrapped around nerves in my leg. And I was already doing a lot of healthy things like exercising every day, eating fairly well. And so it really opened my eyes to other things in our physical environment that affect our health. What I also learned and have been studying and working with for several years is how we actually have those emotions in our body as well. So you might have heard the phrase, your issues are in your tissues. And I'm a melt method practitioner. And so when I hear Desiree say that when we have blockages in our energetic flow and blockages in our chi, it causes pain or dis-ease, I immediately think of my melt training, and I studied with and have worked with Sue Hitzman, who's the creator of the melt method. And our approach is all about rehydrating the connective tissue in your body. So we've got Desiree talking about, what some people might be a little unfamiliar with chi and energy flow. And we've got Sue Hitzman talking about absolutely physical issues in your superficial fascia, and your connective tissue systems. And we're all talking about the same thing, actually. So physical or emotional, it's really all the same body. So when I heard Desiree talk about that, it really connected with me and my training and experience as a melt method practitioner. And I know that when we get these blockages, a lot of things can happen to us physically. It can create digestive issues. It can create issues with our hormones, our metabolism, our sleep, our energy. And similarly, in the sort of Desiree approach, it creates emotional issues. It creates overwhelm. It creates lack of confidence, lack of clarity, lack of boundaries. So emotional well-being really colors our whole life, and it affects our relationship with ourself. It affects our work, our health, our relationships with others. And this protocol is really helping us elevate our emotional intelligence, let's say. And it's really designed to create lasting change and lasting results. So one of the wonderful things about essential oils, if you're new to them, is that they can move energy and eliminate stagnation. And there's a quote from Tony Robbins that I like, which says, the quality of your life is in direct relation to the quality of your emotions on a daily basis. So that's why I have really come to embrace the emotional aspect of essential oils and really have loved it. So when we create that harmony with our flow of energy through our body and eliminate overwhelm, which we'll talk about tonight, boost our self-esteem, create clarity for our vision and our purpose in our life, and then finally create some protection or boundaries for ourselves, we are able to be less reactive. We're able to handle situations with grace and with clarity and with ease. So you probably have had many times already where you have an emotional response but a physical reaction. If you can think of any great examples, I would love to hear. You can put them in the chat box. But for example, when you have a broken heart, right? You actually physically feel that in your heart. Or when you see some injustice that makes you angry and you just say, oh, that just makes me sick to my stomach. And you really do feel that hit, right? You cannot touch one part of the body without affecting the whole body. And one of the great, I don't even know what you call them, study, or one of the guys that I love to follow and study is Gil Hedley. And he talks about that. You can't touch one part of the body without affecting the rest of the body. And he has got such an interesting background because his education is in religion and ethics, but yet he's known for doing cadaver labs and actually looking inside the body and seeing the story that your body tells us, the emotional story and the journey that you've gone through in your life just by looking inside the body. I have not yet made it to one of Gil's cadaver labs. That's, yeah, maybe someday. But I have many colleagues that have and melt. So it's a very interesting way to think about how our body is so profoundly affected by the emotions that we have. So what to expect. I already mentioned that you want to be drinking some water. If you're doing the whole protocol, you may have a variety of reactions afterwards. You might feel lighter, you might feel more clarity, you may feel very focused, you may have an emotional release. As I mentioned, I've done it a few times, and the first time I had a very emotional release about 24 to maybe 48 hours afterwards, where, you know, just like little meltdown. Sometimes you need to cry it out. And you may just feel like you just want to clean your house. So there could be many different reactions, and don't worry about, you know, what you're feeling. You just go with it, what's coming up for you with your intuition. And as I said, you only need to do it once, but you can repeat it. So we're going to be using acupuncture points to remove blockages. So the acupuncture points, I'm not an acupuncturist, Desiree is, so we're going to be following her example of the acupuncture points. And also I just want to mention that with any of these, you may want to dilute your oils. We are using a couple strong ones, and I will mention one or two to dilute. But you may want to have some fractionated coconut oil handy to dilute. If you have sensitive skin, you can always mix in essential oil with a carrier oil so that it, you know, can be a little more gentle on your skin. If you're comfortable putting an oil neat on your skin, go for it. That's just your own personal preference. And the other thing that I would like to reinforce is that I'm talking about in this session high quality certified therapeutic pure grade oils from doTERRA. So I cannot vouch for any other. doTERRA is the largest essential oil company on the planet, which has the most tested oils. So these oils have been tested and trusted. If you try this with some other oils that you got in Bed and Bath or Amazon, I can't say that they will have the same kinds of effects. So go with the best. That's what I say. So we're going to dive right in. So we gave our little intro and why we're doing it and what we're doing it. We're going to dive right into the protocol. So we are going to start with Melaleuca. So I want you to grab your Melaleuca and let's take it off and give it a smell first. It's a strong smell, and it is not my favorite, I will confess. But after I started diving into this emotional arena of oils, I have come to appreciate it. Still don't care for the smell, but appreciate it and its benefits on an emotional level. So Melaleuca is the oil of energetic boundaries. It is a cleansing oil, and it helps to break patterns. So if you get in a loop and it becomes a pattern, right? That happens a lot with our self-talk. We say the same thing over and over, and sometimes, many times at least, I can vouch for myself, many times it's something that is on replay in our mind that does not serve us, right? You know, I have too much to do. I'm overwhelmed. I'm never going to get it all done. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I look too fat. I'm not as successful enough. This, that, you name it. Maybe you have, you know, one that you put on replay all the time, right? So this cleansing oil helps to remove that chaos, right? And it helps to get rid of attachments that do not serve us anymore. So sometimes we get involved with people or commitments or responsibilities that we take on things that we don't necessarily need or want. So this is going to interrupt the pattern. So you can think of it like if you are playing a DVD or a CD and you get a scratch on it, it just won't play the same anymore, right? You can't play it anymore. It's going to interrupt the pattern. It's going to have that break. So if you're feeling like the life force has just been drained out of you, or the energy has been, you know, sucked out of you, it sucked the life out of you, then this is going to be a wonderful oil for you. And it just is going to help you remove the chaos and help to let go of those attachments that don't serve you. So with this oil, we are going to apply it on a couple of different places. We're going to apply it on the back of the neck. So you can just take it like this and put it on the back of your neck. One drop is all you need there. And then you are going to put a drop on your throat. So just a drop. Again, you can use your FCO if you wish and just put a dab of that in your hand, a drop of your Melaleuca, and mix it together. The next place we're going to put that drop of Melaleuca is on our heart center. So your heart center is not actually where your physical heart is. It is in the center. So it's kind of like right above the breastbone here. And you're going to put it in the center there, where your sternum is, basically. Little drop there. Ooh, it's really smelling like Melaleuca in here. Not my favorite. And then the next place you are going to put that is the belly button. So hopefully you're not wearing like a dress that you can't get in. So just right around the belly button. This is your sort of sacred place here. It's your center of confidence. And so when you're getting rid of things that don't serve you, you have to do that in a confident way. And so this Melaleuca is helping us essentially like disinfect our spirit. All right, you can think of it as the disinfectant for your spirit. And it's creating some energetic boundaries for us. So whether that be people or circumstances or commitments, it's gonna put that boundary in there. And I have found, as I mentioned, I've done it a couple of times, that over time as I've done this, I have become much more discerning with the circumstances, commitments, and people and responsibilities I say yes to. And if you struggle with that, keep your Melaleuca handy. And you can use it for that, whether you do this full protocol or not. It's always going to be good for that. So next, we're going to grab your oregano. Now, oregano is a very hot oil. So if you have an oregano touch, I don't have an oregano touch handy, but a touch is going to look like this. This is not oregano, but it's going to be in a roller ball, already diluted with fractionated coconut oil. So if you have some sensitive skin, you may want to grab your oregano touch if you have it. If you have regular oregano and you want to do this with some other friends or family members, you can always create your own touch with oregano, right? About 10 drops in a 10 ml bottle of the oregano, and then fill the rest up with FCO. So oregano is it's a doozy. We're going to smell like pizza next. So it is the oil of humility and non-attachment. This is the oil that helps quiet your ego, and it helps you see the bigger picture. And it really speaks to how you are contributing to a situation, right? I know that it must be the use of oregano. I am much more able to step back and see my role in creating problems and issues, right? So it helps you to see how you're, playing a part in some of the things that challenge you. And it helps you to have a calmer approach to those kind of difficult situations. So it really can help open your mind and create some flexibility, right? So it might not be always blaming the other person. It might be a little bit of opening your mind. It's a reset. It's kind of like a reset button. Opening your mind, resetting your mind, and being a little less rigid, right? And see what needs to change, because there's, three sides to every story and every relationship, and it's important to look at our own contribution in that, what needs to change. And that's the only way we can have personal growth, right? You've heard, you can be right or be happy. So this will help us to create that feeling of living in faith. And I also think it's very helpful for those who are in business for themselves, because it is the oil of non-attachment. It's important in our businesses and our sales processes to be unattached to the outcome. I talk about that a lot in my team, and it's something that I have done a tremendous amount of personal work on that over the last year. I definitely am not there. I need to continue to use my oregano for that. But it helps to aid you in being unattached to the outcome. So you're going to take your oregano, do a little drop, and you're going to put it on the top of your head, which apparently is a really powerful acupuncture point. And by doing that, it just gets right in your whole body. So again, one of the things that attracted me to incorporating more essential oils in my work is when we work with the melt method, our body is a watershed. It is fluid and it's always moving, right? It's always flowing until we get little stagnations there or bits of sediment. But it's like a flowing being. We're a flowing beings. So that oil on the top of your head is going to just flow right through. It's also why the way that that system works within our body, it's why we love to put oils on our feet a lot, right? Because you can put them on your feet and it will go all the way through the body. It's like a watershed, right? We're 70% water at this point. When we were born, we're about 90% water, but now we're about 70% as adults. And if it was not constantly moving and flowing, we'd have these huge, gigantic feet, right? Everything would pool to the bottom, and that's not the case. So we've got that flow, and that brings us to our next oil, which is the oil of motion and flow, and that is your cypress. So grab your cypress, the oil of motion and flow. We, this is kind of one of those like unsung heroes in my house. I don't really reach for the cypress too often, but I'm starting to kind of like get connected to it and enjoy it. But it's one that my husband puts in the diffuser a lot. So, but I always forget about good old cypress. The oil of motion and flow. Now this is the powerful mover for stagnant energy, especially if you're stuck in old patterns, old habits, old ways of thinking. And if you always feel like you are going uphill, I've had different periods in my life where I feel like I'm treading water all the time, or I'm on this hamster wheel. And if you're always feeling like that, if you get that feeling that you're like fighting against life rather than going with the flow, then this is going to be the oil for you. So it's going to create some fluidity. And we're going to take this oil and we're going to put a drop on the inside of the elbow creases, which is another really popular acupuncture point. And until I started learning about what acupuncture points you might apply an oil on, I can't say I ever really put oils there. So you want to make sure you do it in both sides. So this is the lung and pericardium and heart channel here. So it's really getting us out of our old ways of thinking if we're stuck in our old ways of being or thinking. Quite a combo going on now. And it's helping us let go of control, let go of fear, let go of perfectionism, and helps us let go of the force and allow things to unfold naturally. So I know for myself, perfectionism, like I can really get caught in like trying to make things perfect and be out of flow because I'm trying to force a square peg in a round hole kind of thing. And so Cypress will allow me to kind of release that a little bit. And when we are not in flow, that's when we can be overwhelmed. So this is the end of our first section, which is eliminating overwhelm. So your Melaleuca, your oregano, and your Cypress for eliminating overwhelm. How are we smelling? How's everyone doing so far? Feel free to write a little note in the chat if you're feeling good. Let me know if you have used all of those oils. And be sure to drink some water. I've got my water and my tea going here. So we're going to move into section 2, which is boosting self-esteem. Now, this is another reason why this kind of work with oils is very close to my heart. And that's because I had a business for 23 years that was 99.9% female in terms of my customer base and my staff. Most of the time it was 100% female, my fitness business. And I am just always amazed at how much women, and I'm going to generalize, so any doTERRA dudes that are listening to this, it could be the case for men as well, but I'm going to speak from my experience. Women we beat ourselves up, like beat ourselves to a pulp when it comes to so many things, our bodies, our parenting, our success in business, all of those things. So boosting self-esteem, I think, is critical. It's like I almost feel that low self-esteem is an epidemic, and we have fantastic tools. We have essential oils that can help us shift that epidemic. And we want to start it now with ourselves and our families and our kids. So we are going to start with fennel. Ooh, yeah, fennel. And this is the oil of integrity. No, the oil of responsibility. Oil of responsibility. I can't read my own handwriting. This is the oil that allows you to say yes to you and what you want, right? And again, for a lot of women, we tend to adopt roles where we're serving others a lot, and sometimes to the expense or detriment of ourselves. So this is the oil of responsibility. It's going to help you say yes to you and connect with your own personal needs. When was the last time you sat down, got quiet with yourself, and asked yourself, what do I need? So that is something that I've also been working on in my own personal development over the last year or so. And yeah, long way to go still on that one. But it will allow you to have the courage to speak up and claim what your needs are. It will allow you to live in alignment with yourself and to get yourself permission to let go of unnecessary responsibilities. Permission is a big word for me right now. I feel that so often I'm looking for permission, seeking permission for all kinds of decisions. And I have one of my mastermind partners talks about this topic a lot when we're meeting. And, she says, write yourself a permission slip. And I feel that as women, we would be very well served to write ourselves more permission slips to do what we need, what our heart needs, what our heart wants, right? And so this is going to help you connect with your personal needs and start saying yes to things. So you're going to take this and you're going to put it on your wrist. And you could do one wrist and then rub it together, one drop and rub it together. But you want to make sure that you get it on both wrists. Very licoricey. It's very interesting that that's also not a fan favorite of mine. I'm not a favorite of the licorice kind of smell. So this whole combination of oils is quite intense for me. Now, in the category of boosting self-esteem, we're going to take two oils together. We're going to use them at the same time. And that's going to be your bergamot and your grapefruit. These two powerhouses together, they're going to just help you love yourself, right? When was the last time you actually said out loud, I love myself? One thing that I thought was quite interesting, a little aside, and if this was you, do not feel bad about this. Just take it as information. When I put out this workshop webinar, I said, ask people to email me and put in the subject line, I am fabulous. And that's how I would know to send the link information. And there were a number of people who, I don't know, couldn't write that maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe they weren't feeling so fabulous, and that's totally okay. I have a lot of days I'm not feeling fabulous. But a lot of people just sort of, please send the link to the class tonight. You know, I think we feel sometimes like uncomfortable or that we're bragging or boasting if we say, I am fabulous. But you gotta be fabulous. So just like my mug here says. So we're going to take these two oils, and this is going to help you begin to honor your needs and your experiences and move to a place of self-acceptance. So bergamot first, I'm going to go with. And one thing that you can do if you do this again, or you do it with some friends, is you can actually combine these two in a roller ball. You can take 10 drops of each with some fractionated coconut oil in a 10 ml bottle, and you can do this combined as a roller ball. Or if you're using a 5 ml, you can do 5 drops of each. So you're going to take your bergamot and you're going to put it on your solar plexus, and you're going to do them one at a time. So I'm going to do bergamot first. And your solar plexus is right above your belly button. It's where you do your abdominal crunches. This is a fitness person, so I have to look at it. I always referring to the actual muscle, but it's if you do a little ab crunch, that's right where your solar plexus is. And you're going to also put your grapefruit there as well. So this solar plexus is the seat of your confidence. This is where you have a lot of serotonin receptors in your gut. And we are always talking about brain and gut connection. Some of us just were in New York City for a fabulous lecture by Stephen Cohen. If you want to be connected to the group to get that research and detail, let me know, because it was just so interesting, the brain and gut connection. And right there near our gut is where our confidence lives. And so it's a great combination to honor yourself and create love and acceptance. And so you're going to do the same with the grapefruit. You're going to take that in the same place in your solar plexus and just put a little bit right there. Fantastic. Now, bergamot is the oil of self-acceptance, and grapefruit is the oil of honoring the body. So when you put these guys together, you are just going to be loving and accepting yourself, and you're really going to become magnetic, because the more you love yourself, the more others are going to be attracted to you, and other benefits, other people, financial abundance in whatever way you are working to attract it. So the bergamot and grapefruit combo. How's everybody doing so far? I'm gonna just check if there's anything in the chat. Diane is using all of them. Lisa said it's smelling good here. Diane loves them. Feeling very open from Marion. Jean loves her cypress. Everybody's feeling good. Well, good. I'm glad we're feeling good. All right. So that is the end of part 2, which is boosting self-esteem. All right. So I'm going to turn the page here. And we're going to go on to section 3, which is clarity and vision. Now, we're going to start out with some Douglas fir for clarity and vision. This is the oil of generational wisdom, or the oil of new beginnings. So a lot of the things that we carry around really are generational issues. That's another thing. And one of the things that I love about doTERRA and is, is our emphasis on personal development. And I've always been a fan of personal development. I've always been engaged in personal development. But as I've gone deeper into it, and I've been diving deeper over the last year, I realized there's a lot of things that has been handed down from some past generations. Diana is asking, what is the oil I'm talking about now? Douglas fir. Douglas fir. So grab that Douglas fir. So Douglas fir is going to help you break destructive thinking. It's going to help open up your brain and clear your thinking and your vision. And it helps you to make your next steps obvious. So it's going to help you know what to do next. Like, oh, I see. In order to get to this goal, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And then I've got to go over here and do A, B, and C. So it's going to help break the cycles from past generations and kind of open up a plan to you, right? So give you just a plan of action. And we're going to take that and we're going to put a drop on the back of our neck. And this is going to help you get excited for new beginnings. There's a lot of wisdom and understanding and opening of the mind, right? Woo! That is nice. So this is, before I get into the next one, this is a little sidebar that that you can also do. This is like for extra credit, so it's not part of our protocol right now, but something you might want to try is for extra manifesting. For a great manifesting combo is going to be Douglas fir on the top of your head and then patchouli on the bottoms of your feet. So that was not in our list for this evening. So for another time, just file that away, a little sidebar for extra credit. And so what that does, Douglas fir on the top of your head, patchouli on the bottom of your feet. So up here is where we get the vision. The Douglas fir is helping us create our vision and becoming clear on that. Patchouli is the oil of physicality, so that helps put our vision into action. So vision plus action is really how we get results and how we manifest, right? I talk a lot with people on my team about our internal and external, and we can be doing all kinds of great external things in our business. We can be posting on social media and hosting classes and doing marketing and branding. But if we're not doing the internal work about being worthy and open and ready and willing to receive, we can market all day long and there's going to be a blockage from fully manifesting what we're trying to accomplish. And reverse, if we are really working on ourselves and we're doing tons and tons of personal development and we're all about self-help, but we're not doing the actual activities that benefit those revenue generating activities, then same thing. We're not gonna go anywhere. We need both the internal and the external. So a little extra credit would be Douglas fir on the top of the head, patchouli on the bottom of the feet. You've got the vision, you've got the action, the internal and external, and it's powerhouse manifesting combination. All right. So that is what we're going for. Next is a little spearmint. Grab my spearmint. Where'd it go? Oh, right here, spearmint. All right. I love this oil. I love spearmint. We diffuse it all the time in our house. And spearmint is for clarity and also for confident speech. It's the oil of confident speech. It helps you clear your mind, reduce mental clutter. It actually helps you speak more articulately. Obviously, I need more spearmint. Articulately and eloquently. And not only does it help people listen to you when you're speaking, but it helps them hear you. So that might be a nice one when you're having an important conversation with a coworker or a family member or a partner, because it's important not just for someone to listen to you, but to be heard. So this allows you to speak from a place of sincerity and confidence and from a place of courage. I just know so many just amazing, cool, wonderful women, and sometimes, they put their gifts under a bushel, right? And we are really meant to shine, to live our purpose and our truth. So spearmint is going to help with that. So we're going to take the spearmint and we're going to put it on the top of our head. Ooh, yeah. So that's going to clear away any thoughts that confuse us or distract us. Really, really love this oil. And another kind of sidebar, great combination you could use spearmint on the top of your head, and you could use lavender on your throat, the oil of communication, and that would also be a really nice powerhouse for communication. So that is going to help us create our clarity and vision. Now that is the end of Jean Loves Spearmint too. Yeah, and actually I use a blend. There is a blend called, I think it might be called Confident Speech in Desiree's book. I actually make that blend up in a little tiny bottle, and I keep this in my doTERRA knapsack, and I use it when I am going to meetings, one-on-ones, teaching class. I use it all the time, just put a little bit on my throat. So, oops. You think I put some on tonight before this? I did, so yes, so it's a good one for that. All right, so that is the end of the section on clarity and vision, and now we are going to go into part 4, which is called Project Yourself. Now, these are 2 really strong oils, so I would definitely recommend combining these with some fractionated coconut oil. I actually already pre-did this in a little 5 ml, so 5 drops of each of these 2 oils, and the rest of fractionated coconut oil, or if you've got a 10 ml bottle, 10 drops of each. So we've got ginger and cinnamon. Ginger first. Let's talk ginger. Ginger is the oil of empowerment, and this is the oil for procrastinators also. So if you really need to make yourself move and do something, and you are using your ginger, you're going to have a hard time just like sitting on the couch and watching the world go by, right? Ginger is going to put you into action. That is great when you are feeling like you're just mailing it in, right? We all have those days where we're kind of mailing it in, and it helps you move and do what matters. And it also helps increase your courage and really be present to what's going on and take responsibility. And cinnamon is actually the oil of sexual harmony, but Desiree doesn't really talk about it in that sense. It's also the oil that helps you stand in your power. In these oils together are for movement and inspiration, right? So really a movement and inspiration. So you are going to take a drop of each, and again, you can add your FCO, and you're going to put it in 2 places. You're going to put it on the solar plexus again. That's your powerhouse right there, remember? And it is a little spicy hot. And you're going to also put it on your wrist crease. Again, you can just do 1 drop with your FCO, and then you can rub them together. So it's going to really create some passion and excitement. My cap's back on here. And no matter what is going on, no matter what is thrown your way, you are going to be able to handle it. Nobody's going to be able to stand in the way of you and your mission. These 2 are great for getting out of victimhood, right? And the cinnamon is something that I heard over the weekend when we were at Diamond Day. One of our speakers, and I'm not recommending that you do this, not recommending this, just to be clear. One of our speakers said that she was talking with Dave Sterling, the CEO of doTERRA, and he told her that he puts 6 drops of cinnamon on his tongue every day, and he does that to stand in his power. So I'm not recommending 6 drops on your tongue. Not a good plan. But it just was a great example of standing in your power. So another little sort of bonus here would be a diffuser blend of ginger, cinnamon, and then add a little bit of lemon. So probably equal parts, a couple of drops of each, ginger, cinnamon, and lemon. And that is a great diffuser blend when you are really trying to, up your movement and inspiration. Okay, so that is section 4. And let's just talk a little bit about what would happen next. So you can, as I said, do this one time. It's not necessary to repeat. It's really a reset for you, and it can reinforce and deepen long-lasting changes. Now, that is also dependent upon how open and willing you are and receptive you are to change, right? So it may not be, a one-time shot for you. It may be something that you try a few times, because some of us are really open for change and ready, and we're just like hungry for it. And some of us are still a little bit closed and holding back. So it doesn't really matter where you are with that. It just matters that you stay the course, right? So after the initial protocol, Desiree recommends using some blends from her book. And she has a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe over 5 phases, different blends that you can use. So the first 2 blends after the initial protocol that we did this evening, you can use either the Release Your Fears or the Bye Bye Baggage blend, or you can use both of them. And she suggests continuing the protocol and use each different new blend, all found in her book, for 2 to 4 weeks. And at that point, it's really using, you can also use individual oils as needed, any of the ones that we talked about for those reasons that we talked about them, or maybe there's something else you want to grab and put in the mix. But here's where you really start to use your intuition as to how long you need to keep up with the subsequent blends, if you choose to do that, or you can just choose to keep it as is like we just did tonight. So, that's really a personal choice, but that's one of the ways that you can use this kind of information. Questions, comments? How's everybody feeling? Everybody feeling good and open? Oh, beautiful. So a few things that I also want to mention here. One of the things that I love about doTERRA is that you can take what interests you, and you can kind of make that part your passion. So for example, in doTERRA, we have over 5 million customers, and 85% of them are simply customers. They purchase and love oils. And the remainder, the other 15%, are people building businesses and sharing actively. And the thing that I love is that if you are thinking about doing something in doTERRA, you can take the area that is something that you're passionate about. After doing a protocol like this, really start to pay attention to the signs and the information and the ideas that you get, right? Because that's the clarity and vision coming through for you. So let's say, you have a inkling to like sign up for a Pilates class, or you feel like I really need to be doing more meditating, or you need to call somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. So whatever kind of signs or signals that you get, just be aware of them after you do this and heed them, pay attention to them, right? And so the business side of doTERRA is cool because you can take that, whatever is interesting to you, and latch onto that and embrace that. So this kind of material is very interesting to me. My undergrad is in psychology and my master's is in industrial relations. So I love the whole thing about, creating clarity and creating vision and reducing overwhelm and all of that, and helping people have more self-confidence. That's like my wheelhouse. I love that kind of stuff. But we've got people that, what they love is pets. And I know nothing really about using oils for pets, but if that's their passion, you can take that and run with it. or if it's being a mom, or if it's using oils in yoga and meditation, whatever it is, you can take it and embrace it. And so that's one of the things that I love about this business. So if you're watching this and you are interested in the doTERRA business, talk to the person who shared this with you or contact me. And if you are watching this and you don't have any oils yet and you thought that sounded so cool, I want to do that, I want to put oregano in my head, we will have in the follow-up email, there will be a discount code. So if you are brand new and you don't have any oils and you've just listened to this and you want to get some oils, we're going to have a discount code available for you, just for you, for watching this. And you can use that either through the person who shared this with you, or if you just stumbled upon it on your own, you can always reach out, and either way you can use the code, whether you are getting oils through me or through someone else. Yeah. So next thing, couple of things to know. I have got a Facebook group called Create Your Radiant Life, and if you are not already in that, feel free to ask to join that, because that's where you will hear more of this kind of information, more of these kind of opportunities, right? They'll always be posted in there. I tried to get the word out all kinds of other routes as well, but you can be assured that those kind of things will be in there, including Facebook classes, Facebook Lives, Zoom webinars like this. Check that out, join that group. And that group is not purely about oils. We also focus on things like mindset, energy, time, environment, and having fun, of course. So my belief is that if you have those things operating and they are at a healthy place, all the other things can fall into place, right? Your relationships, your work, your finances, your hobbies, whatever else you want to do, all can fall into place when you get those things operating at a healthy place. And finally, if you are on doTERRA team with me, and if you're not sure about that, so you may be signed up with someone like Wayne or Julie or Jean or who knows, anybody. If you're not sure if you're on the Kristen team, you can send me a message and I'll let you know. But anybody who is on my team who places an order this month in January for 200 loyalty rewards program, I actually am going to give away one of these. So all you have to do is send me an email that says, I am fabulous and I ordered 200 LRP, and I will put you in the drawing. And it won't be this book that looks like it's been well used with oils. I got a brand new one too. So that is, that's going to be done, and it has to be done by January 31st. So, and you can share this with someone as well and get them in the drawing too. And we'll pick the winner on the 31st. And I think that is it for our I Am Fabulous. I hope you are feeling fabulous. If you win the book, I'll put a link to where you can buy the book, but if you win the book, you can start using those next protocols right away that Desiree has outlined, and you can get some good stuff there too. So that's all I have for tonight, and I appreciate everybody listening. If you have any questions, Marion says, thanks for the reset. Diana says, that last combination is amazing. Love it. Jean says, thanks. This was great. I am dedicated to helping other people feel radiant in their lives and in their bodies. And I applaud you for coming on and listening to this, because you are on the right path, and the world needs you to share and shine and be radiant with your gifts. So I hope you do that. So thank you for listening. I am gonna stop the recording. Bye.